Hello everyone, it is Joe here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon, and today we are looking at the AquaBox deck that won Germany Nationals 2016. Krista Wallantis did very well with this deck. Also, a second player top 8'd with the exact same list. It was actually Mark Lutz as well, very established, well-known player. He did really well at the ECC, so definitely a great list. Very, very cool. This is not the actual list because, as you can see, there's N in the deck, which is basically the post-Fates Collide, and that's the format that we're starting to look at now. So we'll see how the deck changes, and I've got a few suggestions for the deck as well moving forward. But this is pretty much the exact same list that Chris O was able to win with. The only difference being that N is in the deck rather than 2 Judge. It was literally a straight swap. And then I also flip-flopped one Rough Seeds with a 4th Trainer's Mail, because I thought personally that 4 Rough Seeds was too high. But yeah, we will be getting into the deck. I think it's a really cool one, and again, it's one of these that we sort of look at the Worlds format at this point in the season. Definitely myself, who is going to Worlds, starting to think about different decks and how different matchups will be shaping up. And this one seems like it will have, you know, continually good matchups going into the post-Fates Collide format, because nothing new really threatens it too much. It has answers to the current format, as well as, you know, the things coming out from Fates Collide I don't think really challenge it too much. So yeah, it should be a pretty good contender for Worlds as well. So we will jump into the list. So I think the deck is probably best described as an AquaBox. It's not really a Seismitoad EX deck, despite it being the main attacker in some situations, and it's the one that we have the highest count of. So I guess this is the best place to start. We have Seismitoad EX, 180 HP, water type of course. The Quaking Punch attack, it's huge. We all know this is amazing. For 2 colorless energy, we do 30, and your opponent can't play any items from his or her hand. Now, normally I'd be saying just a DC attachment and we can get this going, but as you may have noticed, this deck is playing only basic water energy. It's very focused on the Max Elixir engine to get lots of energy into play. And really, we only use Quaking Punch very often against Night March. This is very much an anti-meta based deck, and we have different options for different matchups, and Quaking Punch is the option against Night March. We know it's very difficult for them to get over a Seismitoad EX. Even hitting 180 is a pain, but when we put Fighting Fury Belt on this guy, the Night March player really struggles under the item lock. So Quaking Punch is the go-to against Night March. You play as if you're a straight Toad deck, and you just Quaking Punch every single turn, put the pressure on, deal with these Night Marchers quite easily, and you should win the game that way. Because sometimes they can just not hit the numbers that they need to. We can free retreat thanks to the Manaphy if one of these gets damaged, and energy switch onto a new one, maybe even using AZ in there as well to deny prizes. So really, really good stuff for us. We play like any other Toad deck against Night March, but against other decks, Quaking Punch, obviously it's still going to be good for greedy decks, big setup decks. You can slow them down at any point, really. But really, it's the Grenade Hammer attack that we use quite often in this deck, because it's actually really underrated, and it's a very good attack with the Max Elixir to accelerate it. Grenade Hammer does 130 damage for 2 water and a colorless, and we put 30 damage on 2 of our own benched Pokemon. This is mitigated, of course, by Rough Seas. We're playing 3 in this list. It was 4 in Chris O and Mark Lutz's list, but I've gone down to 3. I think 3 is enough to the point where Grenade Hammer, you know, is mitigated, even though there's a 30 damage snipes going around the board. If you put them on your water types, you can clear them off as long as Rough Seas stays around. So really, really good numbers. We can one-hit KO Shaymin EXs. We can also, with Fighting Fury Belt, get over things like Zoroark Break, which is very popular. So oftentimes we're two-shotting other EXs, but in such a non-EX heavy format, 130 is just a great number to be hitting. So really good pressure with Grenade Hammer, and it's actually the main attack that we use with Seismitoad, and it's rare that we say that. So yeah, 3 Seismitoad EX is pretty much the main attacker, always the best attacker against Night March, but in general, Grenade Hammer puts a lot of pressure on pretty much most decks. So let's hop over to Articuno. Articuno has the Theta Plus. I believe it's Theta. It could be Delta Plus. Yeah, let's go with Delta Plus. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from Articuno, we get to take an additional prize card. So this is absolutely phenomenal, and you may have seen on stream, this is used against Greninja more than anything else. Tri-Edge for 2 water and a colorless energy does just 20 damage base, but we get to flip 3 coins and we do 40 more for each heads. So with 1 heads flip, we can knock out a Froakie and take 2 prizes. With the Fighting Fury Belt, we can knock out a Frogadier with just 1 heads flip and take 2 more prizes. And we know that Greninja decks, they take pretty much 2 turns quite often, just having to do the water duplicates, just get that setup going. So as you saw in some of the stream games, Articuno was able to take 4 prizes uncontested. There was nothing that the player could do to deal with the Articuno. It was just, sat there taking the easy prizes because the Max Elixirs got him set up very early, and we could punish the Greninja player from there. And then it just comes down to, can they evolve up all of their remaining Frogadier in 1 turn and knock out the Articuno? If they're unable to do so, maybe a Lysandre wins us the game by just taking out a 3rd Frogadier, or even something like a Xerosic promo, which may have been forced onto the bench at some point. So, yeah, Articuno is really, really good for dealing with Greninja. It's also pretty good against Night March. We are going for Quaking Punch pressure a lot of the time, but sometimes we can turn the pressure on in terms of prize racing as well, to attack from all angles. We can do Grenade Hammers to knock out Shaymin EXs, we can use Tri-Edge to knock out Night Marchers. Sometimes we can simply race. If we Quaking Punch for 2 or 3 turns, really force them into a bad spot, then we can overrun them with just racing at some point. If we've set up, an Articuno or 2 additionally on the bench, we can just get some Tri-Edge value there as well. So really, really good card. Also, the Chilling Sigh attack is one to be not to be underestimated. Automatic sleep, so 50% chance that they can't do anything. Sometimes if there's really annoying attacks, maybe in Quaking Punch Wars, you can send stuff to sleep and make it awkward for them. So pretty good card. It's also actually pretty good against like Vespiquen Vileplume if you can just stop them for a turn while you search for stuff. So Chilling Sigh, yeah, pretty good option as well sometimes, just for that water energy cost. The resistance to fighting is also an additional thing to be aware of, because we are going into Fates Collide. There is the Zygarde decks and anything else fighting type that's being powered up by stuff like Regirock. People abusing Carbink. Having this resistance is pretty cool. Having the Fighting Fury Belt pushes this up to 160. The resistance on top of that, it's basically an EX Pokemon for these fighting decks, and oftentimes their damage increases are to EX Pokemon only. Look at stuff like Fighting Stadium. So a lot of the time, Tri-Edge is pretty good for us, and just being quite bulky with Rough Seas is really annoying for a lot of fighting decks to get over. It's actually the main reason why Articuno was so favoured, and really what pushed stuff like Landorus EX out of Expanded, because just having one Articuno was like impossible to get over for a lot of decks. So we'll keep that strategy in here and keep that in mind. Next up we have Manaphy EX. The ability is really the main reason why we use Manaphy in most matchups. Aqua Tube, each of your Pokemon that has any water energy attached has no retreat cost, so it's pretty much Dark Cloak but now for water, and we know Darkrai was hugely popular for a while. Unfortunately, Manaphy has just 120 HP as an EX Pokemon, so it's just another Lysandre target basically, which can be awkward for us, but having this freedom of movement is amazing. Using energy switches to then have like free retreat around the board, just a single attachment makes us able to move stuff like Hoopa, Seismitoad, all of these things with chunky retreat costs. And we can even Max Elixir onto certain targets and then just attach to the active Aqua Tube out into a new fresh Pokemon and use energy switch. That's oftentimes what we do because we have fairly low counts of most of our Pokemon, like 1s and 2s ofs even. Only really a 3 of Seismitoad and Shaymin. You're happy starting Toad a lot of the time, but not really Shaymin EX. So having Aqua Tube from really early in the game gets us into the optimal attackers for the right situation, and what really makes this boxy style work. So an amazing ability for sure, but there's also Mineral Pump that we shouldn't sleep on. 2 Water Energy for 60 is actually pretty early pressure if you incorporate Max Elixir. And this heal 30 from each of your bench Pokemon makes Manaphy actually the best attacker against Trevenant. Trevenant using Silent Fear, even using Tree Slams, you can just Mineral Pump all of that damage away, combine it with stuff like Rough Seas to a point where they really aren't doing anything. The only thing that you have to worry about is when they put Bursting Balloons on their Trevenants. If you're able to get a Fighting Fury Belt on, if you go first on Manaphy, you're absolutely laughing. Like, there's no way you can lose that game. But with Bursting Balloons, you have to be careful. So you can't just set up one Manaphy EX and win. You have to have Manaphy EX doing the healing whenever you can, and then play around Bursting Balloon as well. Sometimes you pass the turn, sometimes you retreat into a different attacker, go for like a Quaking Punch, or just throw something else in the active with a Water Energy. just to evade the balloons. So Mineral Pump should mean that none of your stuff really ever get knocked out in combination with the high Rough Seas count, but don't just spam it every turn. You can have a slow game against Trevenant, you really can. You should never lose the prize trade because you're putting pressure on with these 60s at a time and you're healing all of the Silent Fear damage. If they're going for aggressive tree slams, that can get punished by other attackers anyway. So Manaphy EX is just amazing for buying you all the time in the world against Trevenant to just win the game slowly. So really, really good stuff. Really great attack. And yeah, it's good. So we're also playing one Regice. Regice also has a couple of good annoying attacks. For a water and colourless, you do 30 and you can flip for paralysis. It's like what we were saying with Chilling Sigh. You can sometimes buy turns from your opponent by doing awkward things. The 30 damage is actually pretty cool for dealing with stuff like Joltik as well, so do bear that in mind. Resistance Blizzard is the other pain. It's 70 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, prevent all effective attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon by Pokemon EX. This deck is very weak to grass types, and Mega Sceptile being, you know, a decent deck right now. It's still rogue, but it's something to keep in mind. You don't want to instantly lose against Mega Sceptile, so if we use Regice, we're pretty happy. They can't deal with the Regice ever. They can Lysandre around stuff, sure, but we have like AZ and stuff anyway to evade certain things. If we can just continue using Resistance Blizzard, oftentimes Sceptile has little to no answer to deal with Regice, so you should be sitting pretty happy. Even like the Virizion, which people sometimes play a one of, a lot of people don't at the moment at all, so that doesn't really work when we have Fighting Fury Belt now. So Regice is pretty good against Sceptile, and that's really a big issue for this deck. Also, something like Mega Rayquaza, they really have nothing for Regice, and you need to have these sorts of answers for those sorts of Mega decks that are just going to pop up and be awkward for you. So Regice is pretty good for those matchups where otherwise you're, don't have many options. There's been a debate about having, instead of this, you just play one Jolteon and maybe a split of Lightning and Water Energy. At the moment, I just think straight Water is the way to go because a lot of our attacks are just Water Energy with just one colourless cost, and it's difficult to evaluate how many Lightning is the correct number. So right now I've gone for Regice. Try out Jolteon if you prefer. Jolteon does have higher HP and a free retreat, and it, gets around more things. It gets around all basic Pokemon, not just EXs, so I can see why people would want Jolteon in here, but for right now, I'm just sticking with the water stuff only. So from then on, we just have supporting cast. We have one Aegislash EX. This is, it's pretty much just in here for Vespiquen and Vileplume. The deck would otherwise instantly lose. There's no real way you can win against Vespiquen and Vileplume if they go first. Because you don't have your Max Elixirs, you can't really set up anything that's going to effectively deal with them. We have weakness on a bunch of our guys. The Seismitoad, the Manaphy has low HP and weakness. Nothing really has a leg to stand on against Vespiquen and Vileplume, so set up Aegislash, and in the background set up something so that you can deal with their Bunnelby. Once their Bunnelby is knocked out by one of your attacks, you just wait it out. You just sort of chill with Aegislash in the active and let them draw each time and win the game, hopefully. So we have Aegislash as an out and we have Hoopa as an out. So 2 outs to get into Aegislash early. And we also have, 5 draw supported cards as well. So we should be able to get the Aegislash out quite often in these sorts of games. So yeah, it's just good to have an answer to that deck because it won UK Nationals, it's a popular one. And it will continue to be popular at Worlds as well, I imagine, as people learn the deck. And Tamal's list was really good, so people will start practicing with a really good list and, it'll start working for them. So we've got to have an answer, and Aegislash is that answer for us. We do have Hoopa as well. Really, really great card. The whole deck centers around Hoopa, to be honest. Your first Ultra Ball is almost always Hoopa, unless you're going specifically for Articuno against something like Greninja. Simply because it gets you Manaphy for the free retreat, oftentimes Seismitoad EX, and oftentimes it's going to get you more cards of Shaymin as well, so really helps you get explosive turn 1s, get you into as many Max Elixirs as you like. So yep, Hoopa is an important one of. Similarly, 3 Shaymin EX. Not often that we're going to bench all 3, but we just want the option to draw a lot of cards. Sometimes late game you need to make a big push as well, so that's pretty big, and Shaymin EX is pretty good for that. So Onto the item cards, it's all pretty self-explanatory. Super Odd gets back our 1-ofs and 2-ofs, especially when stuff's prized. You want to recycle these sorts of cards. Definitely something like Manaphy is often targeted because of its low HP and giving up 2 prize cards. If we only have one of these and one's prized, we have to Super Odd that back because it's a pretty big card in the deck. Also stuff like the Articuno, the Regice, etc. Recycle these. Also bear in mind, sometimes if it's not too favourable for you to go to Max Elixir mid to late game, Super Odd can just get back 3 and swing those odds back in your favour. So you don't have to burn Max Elixirs instantly. There are times when you want to hold off and let the odds be better for you later on in the game. So bear that in mind. Super Odd can rebalance the odds for you later on if something like a Seismitoad EX has been knocked out. We are playing 3 Energy Switch. Energy Switch works really well when you want to attack with something that's already in the active position. You can Max Elixir to a target on the bench and then Energy Switch it up to get acceleration. Also, we can just Energy Switch to get the retreating effect of Aqua Tubes. So, really, really good card. I kind of want maybe a 4-of. I'm sort of debating whether I want 4 Trainer's Mail or 4 Energy Switch. I can see there being 4 in here because it's a big card, but an even bigger card, of course, is Max Elixir. The whole deck functions around this as well. Look at the top 6 cards and attach a basic energy card you find there to a basic Pokemon on your bench. Having it on the bench is fine when you incorporate Aqua Tube. You can just simply move into a new guy straight away. So the acceleration is pretty awesome. With 12 basic energy, we have pretty good outs most of the time of hitting what we need to get early aggression with certain Pokemon. Articuno, get those quaking punches going, sometimes even early grenade hammers, really difficult to deal with. At the moment I'm playing 4 Trainer's Mail, easily flip-flopped with, Energy Switch or even Rough Seas as a 4-of. I just like having early access to this so that we can get into the Max Elixirs as quickly as possible, get into the Energy Switches if we need them, and it just, it's a big resource card. It gets you into pretty much everything for consistency. For Ultra Ball as well, this is just huge with Hoopa most of the time to get into the majority of our guys, and then from then on, get whatever else you need. For VS Seeker, we have quite a few 1-ofs, quite a few 2-ofs, so we need to respam these as and when we need them. We are playing 1 AZ. AZ is pretty big for denying our opponent easy prizes. Having to play Manaphy EXs and Shaymin EXs means we always have a lot of Lysandre targets on our board. And this is really bad. So we need to use AZ to pick these off of our board so that people can't just have a field day using Lysandre and spamming it. And even stuff like Greninja, if you just pick up a Manaphy or a Shaymin, it denies their Greninja break easy prizes. But bear in mind, against Greninja, we're hoping that they never get their break evolution going. We're hoping that we can take 4 to 6 prizes with an Articuno on its own, and then we can just clear stuff up with Grenade Hammer, maybe getting around their Greninjas before they turn into breaks as well. So we don't really have a long game approach against Greninja. It's only ever short term, but AZ is still important for denying those sorts of prizes and reusing Shaymin sometimes as well. So AZ is a really good card, and in other matchups we just need to pick stuff up. One Xerosic, getting rid of special energy is kind of big, getting rid of tools is big, getting rid of headringers is oftentimes a big deal. I think Trevenant will be going back to headringer builds to try and get around the mineral pumps, so I think Xerosic is necessary to get rid of headringers, which will probably be creeping back into the format if Zygarde is big and if this deck continues to be big, so do bear that in mind. Yeah, Xerosic is needed for those sorts of things, and in general just a great card. Gets rid of Fighting Fury belts on certain Pokemon as well, so that's pretty good stuff for us. We are then playing 2 Lysandre, very aggressive on the Lysandre front. It's actually us that are also going to be trying to pick off Shaymins as quickly as possible because Grenade Hammer works so nicely with that, so we want to pick up threats as quickly as possible. Again, going back to the Greninja matchup, it's something we have to be very aware of. We want to take the easier prizes, and Tri-Edge gets huge value when we do. So 2 Lysandre. We are then playing 2 N. The deck can be aggressive against Greninja, but this used to be Judge, remember? So even against Greninja, you're getting the early value, which is most important because you get the higher hand size early, so you can get the Max Elixirs early. That's the whole point. So this is the shuffle draw option that I've gone for over Judge. You can still play Judge if you really want to, but I don't think I do. I prefer N even when we're aggressive because there's some matchups, like against Night March, where we're not aggressive or we're way less aggressive, and your opponent is left with the small hand size. So N is a natural inclusion in here. I think it's far superior to Judge in this deck and in, you know, pretty much every deck. So yeah, 2 Ns, simply take out the Judges, put the Ns in. 3 Professor Sycamore. I think 3 is really enough for Trainer's Mail, and Hoopa gets out so many things anyway that we don't need to motor through the deck too aggressively. So 3 is probably the correct count. So that's it for supporters. We will look at the 3 Rough Seas. Rough Seas is huge for healing up our guys after multiple grenade hammers so that we don't end up giving our opponent easy prizes or putting things into range. So we don't want to do that. Rough Seas clears it all up. It's also huge once again against Trevenant while we're just trying to buy time. All we need against Trevenant is time. Mineral Pump gives us a lot of time, so does Rough Seas. We should be able to clear up all the damage that they're dishing out most turns, and that's pretty good. And in general, with Fighting Fury Belt and Seismitoad, we can stay out of range for 2 shots for a whole bunch of different things when we incorporate Rough Seas into the mix, so very awkward to play around and very, very good card. 3 Fighting Fury Belt as well is absolutely huge. Great for Night March. We need to have a high count, get them on the Seismitoads early, get them onto Articuno so we have that +10, so it's now a 30 base, just 1 coin flip to deal with Frogadier is big enough to play 3 of these cards and get huge value from it. So yep, 3 Fighting Fury Belt, really, really good. Makes things very awkward to get knocked out. Oftentimes, once Seismitoad is set up using Grenade Hammer, you get 2 or 3 of these off before he's dealt with, unless it's something that can really hit pretty hard. And finally, just 12 Water Energy. We need to have high odds of getting the Max Elixir. So that is the list, and we're going to look at a couple of potential inclusions for the deck or changes. Firstly, play around with the Energy Switch Trainer Mail count. This is something I would definitely advise. I think for Energy Switch might be the correct option, so do bear that in mind. Additionally, the Stadium. Stadium is something I really have been toying with. I saw 4 Rough Seas and I was really skeptical about it. At the moment I've gone down to 3, but there's also the argument for playing some Parallel City in here. And this is because the deck is now, it's no longer a rogue, right? So it's kind of mainstream now because it won a national event. People are going to notice. So if you want to deal with mirror matches, Parallel City is actually a really good option for you. You limit your own bench, so you get rid of easy Shaymin EXs whilst limiting their output by 20. You're only ever going to limit your own bench with Parallel City for the most part, because you never want to put this on yourself because you limit your own damage. So that's pretty bad for you a lot of the time. But limiting your own bench is good against a whole bunch of matchups right now. It gets rid of easy Shaymins whilst you get your aggressive start in any matchup, so that's great. It helps limit your bench against Zoroark decks, and heavy Zoroark decks are pretty big right now as well. And again, you're limiting the output of these water type Pokemon for mirror matches. Fire and grass types not so much, because you should already destroy fires, and if you're up against these grass types, minusing the 20 is not really that big, because it's either Vespiquen Vileplume where they're doing no damage to you because you've got Aegislash, or it's Sceptile where again they're doing no damage to you because you're using Regice. So mainly Parallel City gets rid of Shaymin EXs, so you have a whole lot less easy targets on the bench. You give them, sure, 1 Manaphy because you need to have this in play, but even then you can AZ it up at certain points in the game. So Parallel City is something that I'd like to try out in here. Maybe a 2-2 split and go back to 3 Trainer's Mail. That might be something I would look into going ahead in with the deck. Also, there is, hopefully I have this card. If I don't have it, I will try and find it. Okay. Oh, here we go. Show not owned. Aurorus EX. Yeah, Aurorus EX is one that a lot of people have talked about putting in this deck. Each of your Pokemon that has any water energy attached can't be paralyzed. Pretty good. It's a pretty good option for you because Froakie using Bubble can sometimes really ruin your Articuno strategy. If they just flip heads, it's really awkward for you. Our main means of retreating is via Manaphy. So if we're paralyzed, we can't do that. So people will try and do that against you if they are the Greninja player. So we don't want to be paralyzed quite often. And also just look at Crystal Breath, 160, which then goes with Fighting Fury Belt to 170. Helps deal with big threats, and big threats are big, and you have to get around those. So you can deal with stuff like Greninja Break in one hit, which is also a big deal. It's an expensive attack cost, but shoving loads of Max Elixirs and energy switches Aurorus's way, and you can deal with big threats. So also it has a separate weakness. It's not weak to grass, it's weak to something else, so it can be an option against stuff like Sceptile if you're really in a pinch. So Aurorus might be a one-off that finds its way into the deck as well, so do bear that in mind. So yeah, that is the deck. Plenty of good options here. I think it's a very, very good contender for the Worlds format if someone gets the right list and is able to take out mirror matches quite nicely. Like I say, Parallel City, I think a 2 of Parallel City might be the way to go if you're thinking about Worlds, because you need to play mirror matches quite often, and Parallel works against a whole bunch of different things as well. So that's my little tip for you, but for now I'm going to show you the straight build just to give you a feel for the deck, and yeah, should be pretty good. We will be flipping a coin here. And we have a Manaphy and a Regice lead. So I'm going to put down Manaphy in the active. Hold Regice for now, it's something we don't need in every matchup. And we see some Psychic types and Wally, so probably Trevenant. Pretty good matchup for us. We've already found Manaphy, so we're pretty happy. Our opponent is going first though, so he could get the turn 1 Wally. So could be interesting here. We'll have to see what happens. The only reason I would really like him to not get the Wally is just for the Fighting Fury Belt. That's all I really want. But we do have Lysandre as well, so if he's forced to use something like Shaymin EX to find the Wally combo, we could be pretty happy. We could just get that turn of items that we need, use Ultra Ball to find more Pokemon, etc. So we will take the Mulligan draw. More energy is always happy. We're always happy to see that, and it is indeed Trev. So it's a very boring way around Trevenant, a slow, pokey matchup where we keep using Mineral Pump, but it's really effective. So we do just see Attachment and Wally. This is perfect against every other deck, but against this deck, not so great. The only thing we fear is Headringers, and I guess, ooh, red card's not nice. That's probably something we fear. Okay, so we get a fresh hand. We had such a good hand for dealing with Trev as well. Oh man, no energy. Rough Seas is good. Do I bench a Pokemon just to play around a Judge or another red card? There's no way he can do anything. We'll pass. Only punished by Judge or another red card. But if we just pass the turn, why would he Judge or red card us? That's my theory. Okay, here's Trevenant Break. Acrobike. Finds himself a level ball for a Phantump. There's an Ultra Ball as well, likely a Shaymin EX coming out now, seeing as though he emptied his full hand. Yes, indeed. So, we just need to be patient. The Shaymin EX sets up for 6. There's the Dimension Valley. Does have an attachment, so we can Tree Slam here, putting more pressure on the Manaphy, but we do have Rough Seas, so we're not in instant fear of being knocked out. We will replace the Stadium immediately. Use the Rough Seas. Still no way we can not be knocked out, so we just pass. Pretty awkward though. We played 12 energy, and we've missed all of them. So that's not great. We see he attaches a third energy to Trev, really putting pressure on us with the Tree Slam. There's a Trevenant on the bench as well. And just Silent Fear. That's a horrible play. Really horrible play. It should definitely have not been Silent Fear. Had to be Tree Slam, because now I can Rough Seas and I'm still not in danger of being knocked out. Might just bench Regice and AZ, but I might save AZ. Okay, we'll bench Regice, but no AZ this turn. We'll go for that line. If he tree slams, we'll go AZ. Okay, cool. Dig for energy. Oh, more Manaphies. Don't want to put it down just yet. In case he judges, I'll play one down. Oh, I should have played down the other one. This reveals info. Should have played the half arc because that was the one that was active. Whoops. Tree slam. Okay, let's start finding some energy. Here we go. Attach pass. Tree slam. I actually really don't mind him tree slamming at this point because I actually need to move this Regice in some way, and him going for a tree slam next turn does do that, so pretty happy with this. There's an energy to the bench Trevenant. And a tree slam. So energy would be the ideal top deck here. Shaymin EX isn't bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could get one card. I think it's fine. We'll use the Rough Seas first. Because Mineral Pump heals not just water types, it heals everything. So I don't mind just digging for one here while we have the option. And energy is pretty big, so just Articuno. Not great. We'll pass. Seeing Trainer's Mail. The most awkward thing now is just bursting balloons. Team Flare Grunt's actually pretty awkward. Because we can't even retreat this now. Okay, Tree Slam. Hoopa. Can't play him. Rough Season pass. He struggled to find more Dimension Valleys. Another Tree Slam. Ah man, we're missing all of our water energy. How have I only seen one? Boo. I needed a water just to retreat Manaphy EX. Pretty sad times. We'll put down Articuno now. That'll be what I send up next. So, losing to the auto win feels good. We'll start going for like Chilling Size if we find energy. Wow, seriously. This is not good. Got to think about maybe if I should have benched that Seismitoad in case he's going to red card me again at any point, but why would he? So, 2 Lysandres in the deck, 11 more energy potentially. How are we missing everything? Another Rough Seas is pretty good though. Need to have those. Constant supply. I think I will bench this to play around. Play around Judge and N and red card and stuff. There is the D Valley at last. We'll instantly replace it though. So he's 10 away from Shaymin EX. Still whiffing. Forever whiffing. He actually wins next turn. Rip. Losing to Trev. I played horribly. Played really horribly. And we drew even more horribly than that. We had the dream hand before the red card. And that is just the most disgusting hand afterwards. So, that makes me feel pretty sick to my stomach, to be honest. Such an easy matchup for us. Not when you draw 0 energy of your 12. Well, 1. Sorry, 1 that got flare grunted off. Feels good. We'll find another game. As you can tell, I'm a lot less enthusiastic about this deck now. One of the main reasons to play this deck is to have such a good Trevenant matchup. But, I mean, that wasn't great, was it? So we have another game here. We will flip the coin. We lose it. And it's up against a pure water deck, so maybe it's Greninja. Now we have a lot of energy. And it does look like it's going to be Greninja, so the priority is going aggro Articuno here. We see an attachment to Froakie. Let's see if he has another benched Pokemon. There's potential for this deck to donk. Ah, Ultra Ball. He got rid of a Frogadier and a Sacred Ash. Hello? Has he got his second Ash in hand? What? How are the 3 other cards in his hand less? For a Remoraid? Hello? That is so bold. That is a really weird turn. Okay. Do I grab the Hoopa first? I think I do. It gets more cards out of the deck for the Trainer's Mail. And like, we always need the Manaphy as one of the pieces. Just 2? Or both Shaymin? Or a second Seismitoad doesn't hurt. 2, 3, 4. Okay, we'll do this. VS Seeker is bad, we shall not take it. We will attach a water to the active. Dig with Shaymin first. There's Articuno. Oh, so many water energy. Yuck, we want these back in the deck. Discarding 4 early. Horrible. We won't put Rough Seas in, because if we draw into another Rough Seas, we can just play that instead, and we don't really want it in here. No Max Elixirs, yikes. Energy switches, something. But we're giving the Seismitoad, the Greninja player a lot of options here. I can't really Ultra Ball for more Shaymins. Maybe this was an error. Yeah, this is probably a bad decision. I should have just taken 2 targets and left this open. Huh. Okay. We'll see what our opponent can do here. There's another Frogadier. There's a Muscle Band. He kept Muscle Band over that. Are you serious? He kept Dive Ball over Frogadier as well. My mind is boggled. And that card as well. Whatever that card is, he kept it over a Frogadier and an Ash. It's bizarre. So bizarre. Lysandre. It's actually pretty annoying. Forces us to have an extra energy switch. Wow. Well then. I think with so few Greninja, potentially it might even be best just to go Seismitoad. Like, as long as I can Quaking Punch the whole time, deny him stuff like, what's it called? Deny him Sacred Ash, I just win anyway. I don't even need aggro Articuno in this situation. I'm going to discard these for deck thinning. We have to bear in mind that N's a constant factor in this format, so we'll take the Aegislash because I'm likely to Sycamore in the following turn, so we will just Quaking Punch. It's not great damage, but Grenade Hammer next turn can finish it off. And if he doesn't find Rough Seas, I might just play slow and keep punching. There's an N, refreshing our hand. Ah, our first Max Elixir has arrived. Not even the best odds. I might train his mail first, looking for like Super Rod would be the ideal. Like I was saying earlier. Is that Splash Energy? Wow. That's one way to recover Greninja pieces. Another duplicates for fail. Oh, wait, what? Oh, he's tricked me. What? So he had the second target in there. That's bizarre. I've just been outplayed. Hello? That's incredible. No, we take the Elixir here. So we again will get the Aegislash out just to discard it. We will Sycamore this turn no matter what these Elixirs, I think. Rip. Hooray. Decisions. 2 Max Elixir gone, 2 energy switch still left. Could go aggro. Aggro Articuno is an option. I'll commit the attachment here. I think that's still best. We can continue to Quaking Punch, like he doesn't have much in the hand. Yeah, it looks like that's what we're going for. Will Fury Belt to protect this. I think I can hold the other Fury Belt for now. Oh no, we can get the knockout. Of course I'll attach it. We'll do that. Hooray. 1 prize instead of 2. I'm playing the deck wrong. But no. I think it was still the best line if he could only duplicates 1 Frogadier, but he tricked us. Still. Oh, there's a Wally. He could get the break this turn. If he has it in his hand. Just a Moonlight Slash. We're not too bothered about this. So a Grenade Hammer could knock him out. Could also go for a Lysandre if we get another attachment. No other attachment, so it's going to be a Professor Sycamore. which means I have to Grenade Hammer. Look at this late Max Elixir. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if none are prized, like it's guaranteed. Okay, one's prized. Our Super Rod's prized as well. So we're on a bit of a clock here. But we should be fine. Putting onto Manaphy means he could XY Greninja plus break, but I don't think that's going to happen. Prize number 2, and Super Rod is pretty big. Not so much for the Max Elixirs, but getting back extra Pokemon. We were kind of aggressive getting rid of our own Rough Seas, weren't we? I was kind of thinking he'd put them into play, but there's no reason for him to right now. Ultra Ball. He got rid of a rare candy as well. Could have got an instant Greninja here, unless he has another rare candy. Nope. Trainer's Mail. We also, of course, have N to put our hand size lower, so we shouldn't be too worried about decking out. There's an Abyssal hand for 2. There's a Skylar. Maybe for Sacred Ash at this point. If he plays 2. It's a big if. Oh, just a Muscle Band? Is he setting up a Xerosic play next turn, maybe? There's a Dive Ball, which will just get him another Froakie, I imagine. Unless he wants to just grab. Maybe he does have that second rare candy. Fail search. Wow. It's pretty ugly. Just Moonlight Slash for a hundo. Don't really feel like committing this energy, but at the same time, play around N a little bit. Yeah, he scooped. We just out-aggroed him. We could deal with another Greninja. He didn't Skylar for the Sacred Ash that turn. I think he sort of had to have any hope. Even then, he would have had to duplicates again, giving us Articuno. Just too easy for us. So we'll find one more game against Arrowiz. And he's got a nice Worlds coin. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully he's a good player. And we'll see what this deck can do against, once again, a different matchup. The whole idea of the deck is to have different options for different games. So I thought I saw Metal in his opening hand, so potentially a Metal Box deck. We have a good opening hand here. Hoopa in the hand is great. Max Elixir and Energy Switch is all good stuff as well. So we will, of course, hold Hoopa in the hand for now. And looks like we are up against a metal deck. I will put Hoopa into play. Quaking Punch is pretty good against metal decks because they have quite a lot to get going. Normally their answer would be Aegislash, but obviously we use basic energy, so I think just these are fine. We've already got the other Seismitoad EX in hand. So we'll go for Max Elixir number 1. Hooray. We'll put Rough Season. I don't really know what stadiums he'll be playing. Maybe Reverse Valley or something like that. We'll put Shaymin EX down. You can see why Parallel City would be pretty good for us, just to get rid of these sorts of Shaymins and stuff. And we actually hit the energy to get the retreat and the energy switch. Aggro Toad, pretty cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I really want to N? Not really. Do I need to Sycamore? Not really. We'll pass. Because we can't attack, we'll scout his hand before we play the N. He's playing a Max Elixir variant. Maybe a Genesect build. 2 Max Elixir in the opening hand. Oh, maybe it's Bronzong Break. That'd be pretty scary. With all the Shaymins and the Manaphys that we play. Undefense would be annoying if it flips heads. Just tails. Shame. So we have a Max Elixir of our own now. Didn't seem like he did too much, so I won't N. I'll just play the Sycamore. And I want to be more aggro, I think, here. Wipe some energy off the board. More than anything else. We have AZ, which is cool for future turns. To try and draw stuff. Quaking Punch is just so slow. He didn't do anything with items, so he has 1 top deck of items instead. I think we can just Grenade Hammer. Don't really need to commit the Fighting Throwbout just yet. It might be something that I commit to, maybe even a Manaphy or a Shaymin EX down the line to get around the Bronzong Break a little bit. So the only thing you have to consider at every point now in any game is that if you're holding on to something for better value later down the line, you can get punished by N. And he just drew and didn't have anything. So great. We'll have one final game, I think, and see how it does, as we're getting a few random things. Hooray, Umbreon. One more game. Why not? I want to have redemption against a Trevenant player, to be honest. But that doesn't look like a Trevenant deck. We will go first. Leading Seismitoad, double Elixir. Nice. And Night March. Okay. Aggro Toad it is. We'll play Shaymin EX down for a card, but also a Max Elixir target. I think it's actually more important than we get a good Trainer's Mail, so we'll play the Elixirs first. Could have got an N. Yuck. Nice. Nice. So we're just looking for Fighting Fury Belt, and we do hit one, which is great. We also have an Articuno that we can bench. Have Water Energy for next turn. We have Sycamore for next turn. Great. Good setup. We'll see what Night March can do with his turn of trainers. See if he can overcome this Seismitoad. If he can, we're pretty sad. If he can't, we're in good shape. Fighting Fury Belt is annoying. We do have Xerosic though. Nice Ultra Ball. Getting rid of Night Marches is a pretty clean way of doing things. For a Feebas. Okay, so it's a Milotic build. And another very clean Ultra Ball. Had to get rid of Puzzle, but another Night Marcher as well, so pretty good opening hand for our opponent, because now we can grab Shaymin for a fresh 6. And he indeed does do that. There is a Battle Compressor. Likely some Lampants going into the ditch at this point. Potentially something like Sycamore as well, depending on whether or not they have VS Seekers. Just 3 Night Marchers, so ramping up the pressure. 6, 7, 8, 90 so far, or 100 with the Fury Belt. There's the double colourless energy. Let's see if they have any supporter for the turn. Another Fury Belt comes down, so that indicates a Professor Sycamore, which then goes 4, 5, 6, 7 to 140. 150 with the Fury Belt. Another Bass Compressor. Oh my goodness. 4, 8, 9. Oh my goodness. Bruh. Might just be like Xerosic Sky Return. That might be my best play. Just an N. 4, 8, 9. Survival. Ultra Ball, another Shaymin most likely. Oh, a backup Night Marcher. Oh, it's a Mew. There's a Shaymin as well. Scary times. We don't play any Hex Maniac to get around the Mew. And we don't play any Muscle Band to one-hit KO Mew either. Night March for lots and lots and lots, but not quite a knockout. Rough Seas to try and deny this Mew an easy way out. Do I need to Hoopa here maybe? Or do I hold for Professor Sycamore? Gives him easy Lysandres, but I think it's fine. Hoopa. I took the Seismitoad even though I'm not drawing a card because I need a backup one for next turn, like for certain. So, yeah. If that's what you're wondering, that's why I did it. We'll take E-Switch because it means next turn we can guarantee a Quaking Punch by moving the one off here. So, that looks pretty good. Let's see how effective Quaking Punch is. In comes the Mew. It of course has free retreat, so it's always a thing that will be promoted here. Let's see if he can find himself a double colourless energy and another Night Marcher. Needs to find one of his 2 Joltik and one of his 3 double colourless remaining. Lysandre. Ah, Sparkling Ripples. That can get back a Night Marcher, if need be. We do of course have weakness to the Mew. Could just be a stall play though. Our opponent taking their time deciding what to take back here. It's a tricky one. One puzzle. What? They took Puzzle of Time back. That's so amazing for us. Failed Max Elixir makes me sad. We shall attach any supporter that I want to use, not really. We'll get a rough season while we can. Get that retreat with the Aqua Tube, and we'll keep the Quaking Punch going. That was a pretty interesting Sparkling Ripples, I must say. Very optimistic. Yeah, we see a Scoob. See, Toad does the Toad things, and it's still pretty good against Night March, so... There we go, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the AquaBox deck. I personally think it's a very good one. Still kind of salty that I lost to a Trevenant deck, not gonna lie, but yeah, the rest was pretty good, so... Hope you all enjoyed. Plenty more Fates Collide stuff to be coming in the next weeks and days, so stay tuned to the channel. And it's been Joe from OmniPoke. I will see you guys next time.